We'd like to welcome y'all all to the Stay Talking Ish podcast show. This is your host, Mr. Barxdale.
And I'm just going to be Gus today.
Yeah. I don't want to hear none of that technical savant shit after all this rigmarole we just went through to even get this show started, Gus.
All right, I'm just going to be quiet about it.
You just Gus. That's two episodes in a row. You've been just Gus. You know what I'm saying?
I think I'm switching over. I think I need to outsource. You know what I mean? Maybe get an intern or something.
Yeah, or something. You got to do something. You know what I mean? We just can't keep, you know what I mean, dropping the ball like this. You know what I'm saying? So today I'm sitting here with some special guests. I'm going to let them introduce themselves.
What's up, yo? This is Unapologetically Black.
And this is Mr. Uno.
Okay. And we also got Disgruntled in the background too. He's going to speak occasionally.
I don't think he's going to speak.
He might not. He's still disgruntled. But we going to find a way to incorporate him into the show.
That's my homie. He eats pork. You know what I mean?
I mean, you guys are the swine consumers. You know what I'm saying? And Mr. Uno too. He a swine consumer as well.
Next time I come over, I'm ordering like 3 pizzas with swine on it.
I mean, that's solid. Just make sure that's, you know, y'all.
We don't have to share.
Nah, y'all don't have to share y'all swine because that's what pigs do. Pigs don't share. And you are what you eat. So.
You must be ass, huh?
No, I don't eat ass on the regular.
Special occasions.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Today, you know, I'm just sitting here, Gus, and I'm paying attention to this whole Colin Kaepernick thing that's going on out in the world today, Gus.
Cats can't kneel down no more.
Yeah, I guess it's a problem to kneel. You know what I'm saying? And I just don't understand it. So, you know, for those who don't know, and I don't know how you don't know unless you're just living under a rock, the quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers decided to make a political protest against police brutality and the wrongful deaths of African-American males by during the national anthem, not putting his hand over his heart and not standing, but taking a knee. He also spoke about not wanting to slight the troops that defended this country, but wanting to bring to the forefront something that's going on in America that is somehow being swept under the rug or not given its proper attention.
Well, it's funny because he stated that, and they're still saying he's being disrespectful.
Well,
he's like, I'm not being disrespectful. Yes, you are.
I'm going to ask Mr. Uno, what do you think Colin Kaepernick is being disrespectful?
I do not think Colin Kaepernick is being disrespectful at all. I think it's his right. It's his right as an American citizen, or what we define to be American these days. It's his right as an American citizen to do the things he believes is right, and to stand up for the injustices and the wrongdoings of his people. Yeah. So in all honesty, he is not being disrespectful to the flag. He's exercising his right as a citizen to do what he believes is right.
Which they say the flag stands for, correct?
Exactly. But the thing is, what they only do a piece of the Star Spangled Banner when they in the beginning of games. They don't sing the entire song. Yeah, because the third stanza is in reference to other slaves and individuals who were going to, I guess, still reap the non-benefits of the war. So
yeah, you know, for those who don't know, that third stanza of the Star Spangled Banner, it speaks about the slaves who were given their freedom if they fought for the British. And you know, the author of the Star Spangled Banner, not saying it verbatim, but the pretty much gist of it was, you know, the slaves that who got their freedom for fighting against America. He's saying how he made them turn and run as they were killing them, and they were defending the land of the free and the home of the brave. But anybody who's been paying attention to this world, you know, especially in America, you understand that it's the land of the free, but apparently everybody's not free.
No, it's land of the freedoms we give you.
Yeah.
And we allow.
Or to get in the club before 10 for free. But if we kill you on purpose when you wasn't supposed to die at all, then you don't get no freedom for that. So I don't know, Mr. Unapologetic. What's your take on it?
Well, First, I think Colin Kaepernick is the Colin, like Colin Powell, Colin banana, tomato, tomato, right? I think he's the perfect person to do what he's doing. Here's why. Obviously, the NFL and American professional football is the most popular sport. It has become America's sport. So he's on the largest stage in the world, and he is in a unique position. Here's why. Because he is biologically or genetically of mixed parents. Mm-hmm. Well, he's mixed. He has an African American parent. He has a Caucasian parent, mm-hmm. and he's raised in I believe he was raised by his grandparents. Very similar to President Obama. Mm-hmm. So no one really could accuse this guy of being racist. Mm-hmm. He's the most impartial person to speak on this subject matter, or at least a person who's mixed, right? Because you can clearly say, well, he loves his parents. Mm-hmm. His parents love him. He didn't grow up in as a matter of fact, I believe he was adopted. He was adopted mm-hmm. by white parents. Mm-hmm. So here's a guy who knows the love that his parents gave him. Mm-hmm. So he's clearly not lashing out against people based on race, in which many folks have tried to make it about him being like anti-white. Mm-hmm. He's also come out and clearly said that he respects and supports our military. Mm-hmm. But everyone, in particular the white media, is ignoring the elephant in the room. And the elephant in the room is the reason he's been doing what he's been doing.
Mm-hmm. So, but this is what I want to say, not to cut across you, because I respect your spiel, but I don't want your spiel to take over the whole show. But
I always say that whenever I talk. I was right at my point.
Did he just tell you to shut up?
Yes, but I was doing it in the Black Lives Matter manner.
Right. I just wanted to say his point is.
I assured you.
This is stay talking ish.
This is stay talking ish, not stay talking
unapologetically.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
So understand that.
Stop talking.
This is stay talking ish and stop talking unapologetically black.
So what I'm saying is,
I'm gonna get my own show called Stop Talking Unapologetically.
So the thing I'm thinking is, what about the people on the reverse side who say, well, Colin's career ain't been the best these last couple years, and maybe he's doing this to give himself some relevancy, because if this wasn't going on and his name wasn't involved in this, we'd be seeing $100 million man sitting on the bench, not getting any playing time, who was just the starting quarterback for a Super Bowl team 2 years prior. What do you like?
Well, I say to that, in a country we're supposed to have freedom of speech, freedom of expression. Mm-hmm. Why is it an issue that he kneels down? Honestly, you shouldn't really give a fuck. Like, mm-hmm. I see it and I don't care. Like, why in a stadium of 60,000 people, mm-hmm. one person kneels in a big controversy?
Well, I not to play devil's advocate, because I am in agreement with Mr. Kaepernick, but if you think about it, when you're talking about sports and you're talking about football, your quarterback is the face of the team. And if the face of your team is not standing up at the national anthem, then it says a lot about the leadership of your team and the leadership of those players, because the other 52 players are supposed to rally behind that quarterback. Kind of like that conspiracy theory that a lot of people have with the Seahawks and the Patriots. And everybody say, well, why didn't Marshawn Lynch get the ball on the 1 yard line? And people say, well, if Marshawn Lynch gets the ball on the 1 yard line, he scores a touchdown. If he scores a touchdown, he's MVP of the Super Bowl. If he's MVP of the Super Bowl, we know he's not going to do an interview. He's going to stand in front of the camera and look like and carry himself like a damn donkey. And we don't want that image to represent our league. So some people believe that there was a call put down to Pete Carroll, like, yo, you better do something else other than give Marshawn Lynch the fucking ball. You understand what I'm saying? So to spin it all the way back to this Colin Kaepernick thing, I can understand why people would say, yo, this is some bullshit that he's not standing up. and paying proper respects to the flag.
I mean, honestly, I guess I would have to be a person that really cared. Like, to me, it's like, you don't stand. It's a flag. I mean, he's a multimillionaire. I'm pretty sure he pays his taxes.
Oh, he has no choice.
So he contributes to the country.
Yes, he does.
I'm pretty sure he does whatever he needs to do to support his country.
Yes, yes.
So when you don't stand up for the flag, what does it actually mean?
Well,
what is he disrespecting?
I'm gonna let one of our guests answer that. I do have an opinion on that, but I don't want to. I want to make sure everybody's thoughts are being heard. Mr. Uno, how do you feel about that?
Don't give too good of a spiel.
Yeah, if you start going into a dissertation, you getting cut off, brother.
No, that's later in life.
Yeah.
But for all the people who are constantly talking ish about Colin Kaepernick, I believe all those people haven't been in his types of situations where they can understand where he's coming from. Those people, those individuals probably don't see or choose not to see, no matter how stupid that may sound. They don't see those racial injustices. They don't see how the levels of police brutality in their neighborhoods, because the majority of their neighborhoods look more like their skin color.
But in their defense, Colin Kaepernick has not seen that face to face either. He's seen it on the news like the other people.
Understood, but that gives him even more of a premise to fight for what he believes in. That's a part of his race. That's a part of his identity. So he is making the conscious choice to fight for what he believes in, and other people just find ways to call that sign of or call that stance disrespectful. He didn't ask to have his jersey sales go from number 7 to number 1 on the list just by taking the stance. He's taking a stance, and it's not just week 1 I'm going to take the stance. He's probably going to he did it in the preseason. He's doing it at the start of the season, and he's probably going to do it throughout the entire rest of the season until this issue is resolved. Simple and plain.
So Mr. Uno, what do you think is Colin's end game with this?
Colin's end game isn't to just fundraise or raise money for the issues. I think Colin's end game is to not only take a stand during a time where we can actually make a change politically, and I'm not going to get into politics right now, but he's trying to make a change not only in something that every teenager, every adult, where the majority of Americans watch as entertainment. That's NFL, NBA, MLB, all those different mediums can be affected by, I guess, an influential character such as Colin Kaepernick. So by making that influence in his realm, NFL, he can establish those, he can influence those changes in the NBA, like how LeBron James, Kyrie Irving, they did it at some award show. I forgot which one it was, but
it was the ESPN Awards.
The ESPN Awards, yes. ESPYs, yeah.
So, Mr. Unapologetically
black. Don't forget the black, because you need to know what I'm not apologizing for being at all. Never. What is your question?
Though you're lighter than the wall.
What is the question? The majority of my melanin is contained in my penis.
Yo, Gus, edit that bullshit out.
He was supposed to say like no homo after that, right?
He was not just supposed to say it. Hold on, I guess Disgruntled wants to speak.
This is Disgruntled Millennial, and just going over what just
Disgruntled Millennial. Nice.
What I think what Colin Kaepernick is doing is just his right to do what he wants to do in this country. Because in any other country, he would end up in a gulag or become a political prisoner. And here, if you upset about something, you can complain and not have to worry about repercussion from your government, state, local,
or
federal,
you shouldn't have to worry about
national.
Martin Luther King.
Now, you say ask Martin Luther King, but Martin Luther King was never put into a gulag or sent away to never be heard from again. And in this country, you can do that. If you're upset about something, you have the right to talk about it now, but can you rally everybody else around you?
You have the right to assemble. You have the right to assemble.
Countries where people have spoken out even where they didn't have freedom
You're not in the microphone, bro.
Yeah.
You
So
gotta make sure
he's
you're
not in the
speaking into
microphone,
mic.
but he said there's other countries where people have the freedom of speech, and like that's true.
Yeah,
But
but
also,
Go
you
ahead.
know, you don't have the right to assemble. Like in China, like they have the Great Firewall. You can Google that. Google the Great Firewall, where they don't even know what happened in Tiananmen Square with the Tank Man. And you know, little kids aren't being taught that history. In America, we're taught that, and or we can Google it ourselves. Where you have other countries such as China and Ethiopia that have great firewalls that block just total aspects of history out. And here, you know, Colin Fitzpatrick is going to go down. Kaepernick is going to go down in history for his stance on, you know, not standing for the national anthem. And, you know, 50 years from now, you know, the kids are going to learn about that, and it isn't going to disappear or anything. Now, what comes out of it, that's still developing in history. But what I believe, and not to grandstand here on this podcast,
Not
is
at
that
all.
he's doing what he wants to do, and that's the great freedom of this country, that he can do that and not get jailed, kicked out of the NFL, stripped of all his money, stripped of his title, and take away from his family. He can do that.
So, Mr. Disgruntled Millennial, what do you think is Colin's end game in this? Like, all the kneeling down, all the growing your afro out, making it clear that you are pro-black. And I do appreciate this brother for being this way. But what is his end game? Like, when does this stop?
We don't know. I don't know. I don't speak for anybody else but myself. And his end game is whatever he wants it to be. But right now, it's developing on a national scale, and now we have social media where the conversation can move 1,000 times faster than it did 50 years ago, and it's what the mass media wants it to end game with. Like, at the end of the day, and I'll finish with this, is that talking about Colin not standing for the national anthem is ratings. People are angry about it. So if I had a news network, of course, I'm going to have all my reporters talking about it because they're going to watch it because they're angry. And what am I going to do every 2 minutes? Show a goddamn commercial. And that's the
And that's
game.
the business. That's the business
That's
of
the
it.
business of news media. And now, last thing, click forming. Hey, Colin Fitzpatrick didn't stand up. We're consuming all of our media on
Mr.
social
Millennial,
media.
I'm not to cut across you. Who the fuck is Colin Fitzpatrick?
Look, Colin Kaepernick.
There we
What
go.
we're talking about.
Kappa
that's
Nick.
Kaepernick.
That's when you mix Colin Kaepernick with 151.
That's what when you
Come on with Colin Fitzpatrick.
or you're
I'm gonna
mixing.
just go to millennial. Look, I'm just trying to pay my student loans and get out of debt slavery. That's my end game.
So are you gonna kneel on college registration day?
Well, I'm out of college. I'm paying that off. I want to get out of my student debt slavery, and I'm just gonna put my hand on my heart and call it a day. But I support what he's doing, and that's the freedoms that we have in this country. But at the end of the day, for me as an individual in the United States of America, all I care about is getting to a zero net worth and building a life for myself and my future family.
Disgruntled millennial.
Real serious about that.
I do respect the doing what he has to do for himself and his family. I do respect that. Do we think that what Colin Kaepernick is doing is in the best interest of his family in the future?
Can I respond to the previous question?
Yes, you can.
When we asked what his end game was, he's already stated that he's going to continue to do this until the injustice of seeing black men being killed in the streets unjustifiably by police ends. So I don't think, I guess his end game is when he retires, because, based on what history has shown us, that hasn't stopped. And the likelihood of it stopping anytime soon is not too likely.
So this is what I want to say to everyone. There's a quote by Nas from the Nigga album that he put out where he says, no revolutionary gets old, and so I'm told you get left full of bullet holes when you tell the people go free. So that's the end of that quote. And that's one of my favorite songs by Nas. So when I listen to it and I hear him say that, it makes me think along the lines of, if you are revolutionary, it's only so long before they kill you. And not saying that they're going to kill you physically, but saying that they will kill you, either discrediting the movement, discrediting your character, which will kill your movement. They can kill the platform that you're standing on, which can kill your movement, or you could be assassinated like Malcolm X or a Martin Luther King. And so if his end game is to continue to do this, and let's say until he retires or until he feels satisfied in the America's response to the injustices, but then the league decides to kill Colin Kaepernick and he's cut from the 49ers and no one gives him a contract to play again, and the platform to which he was using to protest this is taken from him, is his movement worth him losing the platform that he has? Is it worth it? And then he's silenced. Like, is there some sort of end game that he can have maybe by the end of this season that can be equivalent to him not losing everything that he's working for? Anybody?
I mean, just to go on what you said, I think society is nothing but a collection of opinions, and until the advent of social media, like with social media, you actually have a physical form of these opinions happening in real time. And that, so when you say him being silenced, I don't think it would be like a government sanctioned killing or whatever conspiracy theorists would say, but I truly believe that there are some Americans in this country that believe that deeply into this flag that they think he needs to be silenced, and it wouldn't be a government sanctioned assassination or something, but there's somebody probably with the access to the tools and equipment to take Colin Fitzpatrick out.
Who the fuck is Colin Fitzpatrick?
Colin Kaepernick.
Okay.
Hold on for just a second. I think everybody just avoided the elephant in the room.
What's the elephant in the room?
The fact that this disgruntled millennial took a swig of the liquor, walked over, lifted some weights, and then got back on the mic.
And then still said the brother's name wrong.
Okay, so now, see, this is how it works with social media. So now, any listeners of this podcast, I'm probably discredited to a certain point of degree.
Yes, now your platform is killed.
You don't have to, but like I don't ever see myself running for office, and I said that, like, you know, I didn't want to talk on this because my platform as a personal person is I don't talk about social, political, economical ideals unless the other person share the same ideals I have. Because back what I was saying before I was, you know, outed as a person drinking liquor and lifting weights, gotta get the swole,
and saying your brother's name wrong.
Yeah. But you know, like, we're easily discredited. So just what I'm saying is, like, in the times we live in now, that you can see the opinions form in real time, and we see it every day on our Facebook feeds and Twitter feeds with people that we know, grew up with, and went to school with. Everybody has their own opinion, but you know, there might be somebody who has that deeply of opinion of that American flag where they feel like they need to take him out. And it wouldn't be some government-sanctioned conspiracy theory. Like, right now, somewhere in this country, someone wholeheartedly believes that he needs to stop what he's doing.
His head knocked off. I agree with you wholeheartedly, but I want to say this. Months ago, there was a militia who decided, hey, we don't like what you're doing to our farmlands, America, so we're going to occupy this unused government facility, and if you feel as though you want us to remove ourselves, you're going to have to come in here with guns blazing and kill us. So what America did was not even responded to their situation, almost to the point where those guys was starving and was like, all right, we're leaving the building because we need to eat and take care of our families. And then they were all arrested, and then that's the end of their platform. And you hear nothing else about it. So I guess where I'm at with the whole thing, Mr. Disgruntled Millennial, and anybody else who wants to respond, and I want your honest opinion. If Colin Kaepernick is Super Bowl MVP Colin Kaepernick, not fighting for his position on the field Kaepernick, face of the NFL Colin Kaepernick, does he still make this stance?
All right, this is the last thing I'm going to say, and then I'm going to get off the microphone. First, for the first part of your your talk here about the
Militia.
guys, the militia. The major network that covered that whole story was CNN, and I get very upset when I hear other people talk about, oh, this atrocity happened but wasn't covered by the news media. First and foremost, all of the major news and 24-hour news networks are for-profit entities.
Yes.
And they want ratings.
Yes.
And overwhelming the amount of the viewers that they have are white Americans of the middle class or lower middle class that watch this 24 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, their end game is to sell commercials, and you need to get ratings.
Yep.
So they're going to cover that Caucasian militia because the other Caucasian Americans are going to watch that and watch it a lot, and also watch those commercials and have that channel on all day. And then when you compare that to like the Indian reservation that's defending themselves against a pipeline, nobody cares about that because those core viewers who bring in the ad dollars don't care. But now, if that Indian protest does something against the Caucasian private security forces on that pipeline, then that's news that's going to bring in ad dollars. Going back to Colin Fitzpatrick,
Who the
Colin
fuck?
Kaepernick, god damn it. Going back to Colin Kaepernick, it's just basically, if Colin Kaepernick, for whatever reason, the starting quarterback gets hurt, and Colin goes to the Super Bowl, wins MVP, and takes San Francisco all the way, he's going to be revealed, and, he's going to be the face of the NFL. I don't think he's going to change his game plan. And what happens now? You win the Super Bowl, of course, you get that platform, but you got to earn that platform. So right now, Colin Kaepernick, he's got the entry level into the platform, but he's got to win games. He's not the starter. He needs to get in because in order to sustain what he has going now, he needs airtime. At the end of the day, it's airtime. Just for you having this episode of your podcast talking about what he's doing is another level of airtime. But at the end of the day, you need to compete with the major players such as Fox News, CNN, ABC, NBC, and CBS because that is the major airtime. Or tap into the hive mind of individuals on Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat to bring your stories about what he's doing to critical mass. And right now, Colin Kaepernick is definitely at critical mass. But how long does this last? Like, you had the Gen 6. Nobody even knows what's going on with the Gen 6 now. Like, at the end of the day, people have all these Kaepernick jerseys, and not even remember why all these people have Kaepernick jerseys. Like, what's going to happen in the next couple months? You don't know.
Mr. Uno.
Okay, getting back to the question at hand. By trying to silence Colin Kaepernick at the stage and level he's on right now in the NFL, it is going to be a movement that'll make everyone even more angry than they are now.
You think?
Absolutely.
No, I doubt it.
It doesn't matter.
I think it does. And only reason why I think it matters, Mr. Uno, and I don't want to turn this into a spirited between us, but I just want to have a thought-provoking back and forth. If Colin Kaepernick is cut from the 49ers,
Right.
he has no platform for what he's doing.
Right.
So that means, and I really do believe that the 49ers will take $100 million L to get this quote-unquote distraction off their team and out of their locker room.
So let me turn this against you, Mr. Barksdale.
Yes, sir.
So, for instance, if you were getting paid to do this podcast,
Okay.
and you have viewers, or if you have you had so much buzz right now, you are the number one podcast in the world.
Hold up, nigga.
And you are
We
the number one
are
podcast
the number one podcast in
the
America.
world. Okay.
In the world, Craig.
In the world. And then someone silenced you because the views on your podcast were so apparently radical. How would that wouldn't make you and the other people who have been on your podcast episode angry?
I would be angry as fuck.
Exactly.
But I want to be clear. If me and Gus is getting a super check for this podcast show, and someone says, you and Gus monkey ass better not talk about Colin Kaepernick, guess what, Mr. Uno? Guess what show's not happening? Colin motherfucking Kaepernick.
And so
See,
therein lies the difference.
Hold on.
Therein lies the difference.
Hold on.
Let me jump in.
Hold on.
You're right. I'm gonna just finish.
Finish. It's on you.
Because the the difference lies in that.
Yeah.
Because Colin Kaepernick, though he's not starting,
Yeah.
okay, that maybe he's not the number one player on the team right now. It does not mean that he can't rise to stardom again, and that does not mean that his voice is not heard. And if he is apparently cut from the 49ers after this, I'm not even going to call it a stunt, after this
protest,
after this, there we go. It'll cause an uproar, and even more of an uproar than him not standing when the American flag is played.
You really think it would be an outroar if Colin Kaepernick was cut?
It would be an up. It would cause more. Oh, why did a black man get cut from another white-owned team?
Because all the black men in the NFL that get cut are cut from white NFL teams.
Can I jump in here? Here's the thing. Colin chose to do this now because it came to him now. So there's a
but that's
a consultant.
questionable. That's debatable.
There's a consultant, or it's definitely debatable. So I'm gonna give you another side of the debate, because your side seems like you're suggesting that the only reason he's doing this is because he's not getting any shine.
No,
right?
that's not my side.
That's what I'm hearing.
But that's what you're hearing. But what I am saying, because I've made it clear that I'm in support of this brother, but I do want to take the devil's advocate angle for the people that's listening and for the people who might feel that, Colin Kaepernick wasn't speaking about political issues when he was the starting quarterback and playing in the Super Bowl and doing all those things. And why? Because his time was engulfed in being the best Colin Kaepernick player that he could be. But now that you're on the bench and you have all the goddamn time in the world because you're not getting on the field anytime soon, then you might as well do something to bring some light to yourself.
But now why? But now we have seen after him going to the Super Bowl, it's not just Colin Kaepernick talking about what's happening to black men being killed by police in the streets. Colin Kaepernick, Colin has been impacted by a movement that is being paid attention to around the globe. There are world leaders who have been speaking to black men being killed. Most recently at the Olympics, a world leader came out and spoke negatively. A president of another country spoke negatively of the United States and what we're doing to black men in the street with our police. I think Colin Kaepernick has become more politically aware, and his consciousness awoke, because when he was in the Super Bowl, we weren't seeing all of these videos, and all of this attention was not being paid to police brutality and murder like it is now. So Colin is no different than any other American who looks at it when they see it on Facebook. And what medium do they have? They have social media, and they express themselves there. Well, he realized that his world platform is bigger than ours, and he's taking advantage of the opportunity to express it on that platform. And as it relates to the money, he's already like, you know what? I got $100 million contract. I probably already made $25 million prior to now. I got a guaranteed $70 million. How much more money do I need? So it ain't the money. And I guarantee you, when he becomes available, just like when Michael Vick was considered the most hated, as soon as Colin becomes available, somebody's going to come running. Michael Vick is my example to that.
But what I'm saying is this. I think when we speak about your examples to that, when Michael Vick came home from jail, right, before Michael Vick went to jail, Michael Vick was arguably the best athlete in the NFL. All he needed to do was come back and show a flash of that, and he would get an opportunity to play. Now, we fast forward to where we at right now with the Colin Kaepernick situation. I don't want to compare it directly to the Ray Rice situation, because Ray Rice has been unofficially blackballed for a more egregious situation. But it's the same thing. Before Ray Rice got into that situation with his fiance, Ray Rice was arguably one of the best running backs in the NFL. Now Ray Rice is in some of the best shape of his life. His body hasn't taken any wear and tear for over a whole football year, and he can't get a job in the NFL because his name is attached to something that the NFL and America the fans of the NFL frown upon.
No, that's because his face is attached to a video of him knocking the chick out.
True indeed, but his name is also attached to NFL and domestic violence. His name is attached to that. When nowadays, whenever an NFL player go ahead and decide to get into a dispute with their woman and put their hands on their woman, this thing's going to always revert back to Ray Rice. So now we go here with this Colin Kaepernick thing. Colin Kaepernick is openly protesting, and his protesting involves, to some people's opinion, a disrespect of the American flag and the American national anthem. When and if Colin Kaepernick is cut from the 49ers, the fans of the NFL have already spoke that they're outraged by this. What team is going to bring Colin Kaepernick to their team and risk ticket sales and risk of following by bringing that name and disrespect to the national anthem and American flag to their team?
I object. Those numbers are showing the exact opposite. Sales are going up. Their jerseys are going up. And it stands to reason that more than likely, as he moves from a stadium to stadium, even when he's not playing, I guarantee you those games are going to be sold out. Folks are going to come to boo him, and folks are going to come to cheer him.
You can't guarantee that.
Well, let's find out after today's game of whether or not it was sold out, and we can look at the stats.
We can look at the stats, but what I will say is, let's not say that Colin Kaepernick, that Colin Kaepernick is the reason why 49er games are being sold out. San Francisco 49ers are part of a big market team. When their teams are completely ass, and when their teams are competitive, and when their teams are rated one of the best teams in the NFL, they're always going to sell out. So I don't want to we can't attribute Colin Kaepernick being on this 49ers team as the reason why these games are selling out.
Not true.
Very true.
I would not say that is true.
Good brother. Dallas Cowboys, since the retirement of Troy Aikman, had about 10 quarterbacks and terrible fucking teams. And you could never go into that stadium and find a seat.
I guarantee you the first game of the season, right? I guarantee you the first game of the season right now is sold out just because Tony Romo is on the bench.
No. This first game of the season was going to sell out because it's the Dallas Cowboys and it's 9/11 and they're playing at home. With George W. Bush was the icing on the cake. Let's understand this. These big market teams, this is why, and this is a whole nother tangent that I don't even want to get into, but these big market teams are the big market teams because these fans support these teams regardless of whatever. Think about the Eagles. The Eagles have been ass since inception.
You had a couple good years.
But you can never find a seat at an Eagles game.
You can't get on a waiting list for season.
Okay,
tickets.
but let's try to bring it back to Colin Kaepernick.
Okay, let's get back to Kaepernick.
Because for one,
or Kilpatrick,
Colin Kaepernick,
or Fitzpatrick, or Colin Fitzpatrick.
But Colin
Fitzpatrick was born on January 15th.
I thought I told that guy he had to speak into.
I thought we told he's unapologetically not speaking into the microphone.
He doesn't care
and fucking up everything.
Colin Kaepernick's jersey sales didn't go up for no random reason at all. Yes, he's on the bench. Yes, he's not starting right now. But the thing is, his jersey sales went up. It couldn't be because of play.
It's definitely not because of play.
It can't be because of play.
No, because he's ass. Let's just kill the elephant in the room. Colin Kaepernick is fucking ass.
Come on, he's not ass.
All right, he's donkey.
He can't be. You cannot say he's ass because for one, he's in the NFL.
Okay, he's ass compared to the other players in the NFL.
And to some extent, how can you say he was ass at one point in time, because you brought up Michael Vick and how he was in his prime before and sometime after he got out of prison. Mm-hmm. But for one, Colin Kaepernick at some point in time was on top of his game better than any other quarterback that you can name.
Lies, motherfucking lies, and more motherfucking lies. There was never a time that Colin Kaepernick was better than Tom Brady, better than Eli Manning, better than Russell Wilson. Shit, he was never really arguably better than Alex Smith.
So that was only four.
Did he go to the Super Bowl?
He lost the Super Bowl.
But did he go to the Super Bowl?
Yes.
That means he was
That year. That you have to agree. That year
he was better than 30 quarterbacks.
Say it right. Colin
Kaepernick Fitzpatrick was better than 30 quarterbacks that season.
Okay, so at one point in time, you have to agree he was in his prime.
Yeah, but his prime is not prime of prime. His prime is like fucking $2 cheesesteaks from the Chinese store.
Now, let's wrap it up. He was good for like a year and a half.
Yeah, and then he went right to Tommy John's elbow. How the fuck do you get Tommy John's elbow as a quarterback? And I don't even really want to get into his play because as much as I support Colin Kaepernick please grab a microphone if you're going to speak. I support Colin Kaepernick in exercising his rights.
Talking ish.
But I'm still speaking, bro. Okay. But the point I'm making is this. I am on the fence of, yo, Colin, it's crazy that you taking this political stand when you're like the third quarterback on the depth chart and you're fucking ass. But when you were good, you had nothing political to say about nothing. The same thing with Carmelo Anthony. When you were good and you were running around with Allen Iverson with cornrows and not going to practice and losing USA gold medal games and not doing shit with yourself but scoring points, you had nothing to say about politics. As soon as your ass on the New York Knicks and you watching people that were drafted when you were drafted win championships, now all of a sudden it's Black Lives Matter. Motherfucker, Black Lives mattered when you was repping West Baltimore.
Objection. The objection is you're assuming that a person's consciousness is supposed to be synonymous with how well they're playing. These men
I do.
So these men have been getting older. When they first came into the league, they weren't even 25 years old, and a human being's brain doesn't fully develop until they're 25. So their mind is changing. They're still growing.
Okay, so at 25, where was he? At 25, where was he?
This is my point.
At 25, he was losing us a gold medal.
This is my point.
And running around smoking weed and doing dumb shit.
My point is these men are maturing.
And lessening in skill.
But you said that your argument had nothing to do with his skill being connected to his position. Yet the basis of your argument is that if he was playing well, he wouldn't be saying it. And when he was playing well, what you claim you're not doing is exactly what you're doing.
What I'm saying is I'm taking a stance and even being a devil's advocate for the people who feel this way. I personally, Mr. Barxdale, supports Colin Kaepernick and what he's doing. But on this show, we can't have all of us speaking from the same angle. Someone has to think about the other person who's listening to this, the other person who's watching this Colin Kaepernick thing unfold and feeling like, well, goddamn, Kaepernick, there was people getting shot unjustly by cops in 2014, and you had nothing to motherfucking say. And now all of a sudden that you are third on the depth chart, you're the new Malcolm X of the NFL. No, motherfucker. If you was the starter, you would be standing up and grabbing your heart with pride because you're out here in the limelight. I want to wrap this up with a final thought. First off, I'd like to thank everybody that was on the show today that had this spirited conversation about the brother Colin Kaepernick. Also, I'd like to reiterate that I do support Colin Kaepernick and his stance. But I do hear where other people who are opposed to the Colin Kaepernick situation is coming from. We hear you, we see you, and we understand it. Thank y'all for listening in to the States Talking Ish podcast show. This is your host, Mr. Barxdale.
This is Gus. I'm getting back to my technical savant ways. You know what I mean?
I see you working, Gus.
I'm trying.
But you gotta bounce back because you like 0 for 2 in 2 weeks, good brother.
Yo, you gotta tell your homies, man. When I tell them to shut the fuck up, man, don't be shutting up, man.
Well,
just keep talking and eating chicken. And
he's unapologetically not shutting the fuck up. That's the problem.
I've never been a guest on a radio show where the guest is not the focus and the host is.
I'm cutting him the fuck out.
Yeah, because he doesn't understand that this is Stay Talking Ish.
What makes you good are your guests.
All down. Anyway, thank y'all for listening. Have a good day. Peace.
Peace.